The new summoning event coming to Etheria Restart, the Wishbinder gift event, is officially live on the Asia server. It is not yet here on Global. That will come in a couple hours. However, because it's live on the Asia server, we now have a full breakdown of every single reward the event has to offer and how many summons it will take to earn those rewards. I do want to say one thing early on in this video before we fully get into it. There's a non-zero chance, not even close to a non-zero chance, that this event is a bit of a bait. We know it's a 3-week cycle now with an LD rate up, followed by a 3-week cycle with an RGB rate up, Hollow, Oddity, or Reason, one of the non-LD units, and so far they've always done 2 units. And so far, one of those units has been pretty dang meta immediately. First time this happened, we had Holden, and he is kind of a king in this game right now. The next time we had Fushu. Fushu is wild, hard PvE carry, and tons of use right now in PvP. Not to mention the paired units with them, Hoyan and Nahor respectively, are both very good themselves. So if you're thinking this is a bait and the next rate up will be the best RGB ever, maybe it's something to consider. If you're missing Kloss, you have to go for it. But if you're chasing PvP metas and you think the next limiteds will be the ones you want, and you want to make sure you're ready to go for them, or especially the one that ends up being the star of the rate up, then yeah, this could be a skip for certain players that are weary of this and want to keep their eyes open. I want to give a quick shout out to a fellow creator, RNJ. He's on the Asian server. He made a video covering it, and I was able to make this list you see behind me now. So thank you, RNJ. Now, what are the rules of this event? I'll put them up right there. It is pretty simple. You get 1 point for 1 summon. The points are only counted when you summon on the permanent banner. So in essence, this is exclusively a permanent summon banner. And behind me, you can see the following rewards. So let me make myself a little smaller and let's break it down. I'm going to give my grade, the value grade I'm assigning for every single one of these rewards. That is not just the value of that reward, but the value of that reward considering how many points, how many summons it takes to earn it. So first up, there are 11 total rewards. The first reward is going to be 2 Apex prototypes. And by the way, if you want this information, I'll share it in the description of this video as well as in the top pinned comment. You can see here, to get the first reward, it's easy. It's 1 10 pull, and you're going to get 2 Apex prototypes. These are 2 LD summons. Also, every single reward comes with 250,000 coins. I have not heard enough people talking about this. If you go for the 10 pulls to get the selector chests we're going to discuss, that is 1.25 million coins. That is nothing to scoff at in a game where most of us are struggling for coins all the time. But there you go. Just so you know, every single reward comes with 250,000 coins. I'm not going to mention it again. So that first reward, it's 2 LD summons for just a 10 pull. I value this as an A level reward considering it's just a 10 pull. 1 10 pull, you get everything you get for that 10 pull, and then 2 LD summons. That is really nice. They value LD summons in this game. They value an Apex prototype at 300 Hydra Crystal. So effectively, this is 600 Hydra Crystal plus the coins. I said I wasn't going to mention it, but yeah, this is a great thing. The 10 pull, everyone should at least do that. Next up, for 3 10 pulls, 30 points, 30 total summons, you are getting 1,000 module essence. Now, if you were wondering what this is, it's pretty simple. You go to the exchange shop in the game. These are your module shop currency coins or resources, whatever. 200 gets you 1 piece of gear, 1 module. So 1,000 is getting you 5. You can choose the set, but everything else will be random. For only 3 10 pulls, it's certainly a value. I think for a lot of players, it's more like a C value, but if you're early on, maybe it's closer to a B plus, A minus value. So I averaged this out as a B value. Then at 5 10 pulls, 50 total summons, you are getting 1 evolution lattice. Did I spell lattice wrong? I spelt lattice wrong. These are very valuable, though they are not that rare. So they're going to help basically every account, but it's not the most premium thing. Thus, we graded it a B. At just 5 10 pulls, it's pretty easy. The next one's going to be our second best value, as I grade it in the entire event at an A+, 500 reconfig chips. That is a really nice thing for just 7 10 pulls, 70 total summons. It is a very, very expensive, resource-intensive thing in this game to be reconfiguring the passives on your best shells. 500 is a ton. For perspective, if we go to the Summon Arena shop, they are selling 5 for 150 of the Decisive Star emblems, the Summon shop currency. That is pretty wild that you're getting 100 times that with your 7 10 pulls. This is very, very nice. Not to say that it isn't a terrible value in the summon shop, but you get my point. Next up, this is the coup de grace. This is what we're trying to get here, right, guys? For 100 pulls, 10 pulls, you are getting the selector chest. You can get Veronica, Kloss, or Tsukiyomi. These are 3 very good SSR units in the game. Obviously non-LD, but very strong. Kloss is the best AoE debuffer we have in the entire game. She is strictly unique. If you don't have her, you know how badly you want her. And if you do have her, you know how good she is. Tsukiyomi and Veronica get most of their shine in PvP. However, both of them have been featured in certain Inferno difficulty threshold comps. I know people who have used Veronica in Inferno Terramaton, and certainly people have used Tsukiyomi in both Doki Doki and Aurora. I wouldn't call either meta for PvE, but they certainly have their place. They're both quite good, and they're excellent in PvP. They're also very unique units in this game. So if you're missing one of them, this is an excellent value. Using myself, for example, I'm only missing Veronica, and I'm really hoping I can get to the 100 summons so I can get my guaranteed Veronica. This is an obvious S tier value. No one's going for this that doesn't want one of these units. So if you're willing to do the 10 pulls, you're excited that you're getting to choose whichever one of these 3 girls you want. Then at 13 10 pulls, it is getting expensive now. We have an enhanced prototype. This is a premium summon in this game where you have a 10% chance of getting an SSR unit, and with the other 90% chance you are getting an SR. So you cannot do worse than SR, and you've got a pretty okay chance to get an SSR, but for 130 pulls, this is very, very steep. You just get the one, you get the coins. I'm valuing this as a B, but I think most people should hard stop here. Let's actually just make this bright red right now. This is where we're headed. The vast majority of players should just cut it here. I only graded a B because a lot of people are already going for the 100 points. So what's another 30? And then you get your 1 in 10 shot. But that all being said, it's not such a nice value. And most of the other things below here are pretty poor values, as you can see. Next up, another 30 summons. So we're at 160 total now. You get 1,000 anima crystal points, and I am grading this a C. If you don't know, in the anima shop, we use these anima crystal points. I will say this is a free-to-play way to get it if you have a bunch saved, and these are very hard to come by free-to-play, but I don't see much value here. 1,000 is 1/15th of a dupe. You don't get base copies, it's just a dupe of an LD SSR, and then it is 1/5. Those cost 5,000 for a non-LD. 1/5 of a dupe. Is that a good value for 160 summons when we know at least 1, if not likely 2 limited red, green, blue limited banners are coming in 2 weeks' time? No. For 160, this is not a good value at all. Next up, the final good value on the list, particularly good value. This is really just for people that can afford to get there. Perfect lattices are so freaking rare in this game, and you can get one at 200 summons. Now that I look at it, A+ is too generous. We're going to call it an A. The reason I'm grading it an A is because if you're the person going for this and you were willing to do the 200 summons, you really wanted that perfect lattice. And also, once we've reached this point, 200 summons during the event, we've reached pay to win only. So if you're pay to win, you've already done the first 100 for sure. Another 100 for a perfect lattice is reasonable for a decent to heavier spender in this game. Next up, really terrible value, 230 points, 230 summons for another 1,000 module essence. That is a D value, borderline F. 5 modules for 230 summons. This is a poor value. Next one, another poor value, a singular red shadow print, 1 5-star promo material for 260 summons. We're at 260 points now. That is incredibly steep. That is a D grade. And then finally, the max reward, 300 summons, nets you a quantum prototype. This is the red summoning currency. Maybe you've never even seen it before. I'd never heard of it before this event. This is a guaranteed SSR. There's a 3/4 chance, 75% it is going to be non-LD, so red, green, or blue, and there's a 25% chance it will be an LD SSR, but this is not a selector. This is random. I'm grading it a B. It's a bonus SSR for anyone that's already pulled 300 summons. The average player is pulling between 6 and 8 SSRs in 300 summons on the permanent banner. So now you're getting your 7th, 8th, or 9th. Cool. You know, I mean, it's not bad at all. That's why we're giving it a B, but it's not that special. TLDR, if you've got 100 summons to use, you have a week for this event. It's going to last a full week. So if you can get to 100 and you want one of these girls in the selector, definitely do that and then stop there. If you don't, just do the 10 pull, get your 2 Apex prototypes. Who knows, maybe you'll have a lucky 10 pull. Yes, the reconfig chips are excellent at 70, but anyone getting to 70, you're going to go the whole way to 100. So either do a 10 pull or do 10 pulls. That is it. And of course, if you're a heavy spender, if you're big pay to win, you don't need my advice. It's a cool event. Summon as much as you want. Guys, thank you so much. I've been Fastidious. You can use my download link below. Subscribe to the channel, share it with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.